Today, we are going to look at one of the oldest, most widespread, and most influential diasporas in the world, the Armenian Diaspora. It is estimated that there are around 8 million Armenians worldwide, yet only about 3 million live today in the Republic of Armenia. This means that more than 60% of Armenian people live outside their homeland, spread across several continents in communities that are sometimes centuries old and sometimes much more recent. This reality makes the Armenian diaspora a truly unique phenomenon, not only because of its scale, but also because of the importance of its cultural, economic, political, and intellectual contributions in many countries around the world. But first, what is a diaspora? We speak of a diaspora when populations originating from the same homeland live abroad while maintaining a strong connection to their land of origin through memory, language, religion, or family networks. In the Armenian case, this is not just a contemporary phenomenon. Successive waves of dispersion have taken place from the Middle Ages right up to the present day. Understanding this history also means understanding an essential part of modern Armenian identity. In this video, we will first look back at Armenia itself, then at the major historical stages that pushed Armenians into exile, and finally, we will see where Armenians live today around the world. What is often called historical Armenia refers to the territory lying between eastern Anatolia and the South Caucasus, corresponding to the highlands inhabited by Armenians from antiquity until the early 20th century. The highest point in this region is Mount Ararat, rising more than 5,000 meters in altitude. Today, it is located in Turkey, but it remains one of the strongest symbols of Armenia and the Armenian people. Modern Armenia is a small country of about 30,000 square kilometers, located in the South Caucasus, with Yerevan as its capital and a population of around 3 million inhabitants. This modern state is the result of a long and turbulent history, marked by conquest, annexations, tragedies, and population displacement. It is by looking at both historical Armenia and present-day Armenia that we can truly understand how the diaspora was formed. Armenians appear very early in ancient sources, first as vassals of the Medes, then of the Achaemenid Persians. They formed an important kingdom at the crossroads of the Iranian world and the Greco-Roman world. Under the reign of Tigranes the Great in the 1st century before Christian era, the Kingdom of Armenia reached its peak and became a major regional power. In 301 AD, Armenia adopted Christianity as its state religion, making it, according to tradition, the first officially Christian nation in history. A few decades later, the Armenian alphabet was created by Mesrop Mashtots, and a distinct written language began to flourish. From the 4th century onward, Armenia found itself caught between the great neighboring empires, the Eastern Roman Byzantine Empire, the Sassanid Persian Empire, and later the Muslim caliphates. Its territory was divided, contested, and fragmented. Despite this, The Armenian population remained largely concentrated on the Armenian Plateau and in the Caucasus, until the major turning point of the 11th century. In 1071, the Byzantine defeat by the Seljuk Turks at Manzikert marked the beginning of the first major medieval Armenian dispersion. The collapse of Byzantine authority in eastern Anatolia and the advance of the Turks forced many Armenian families to leave their ancestral lands. Some of them retreated to Cilicia on the Mediterranean coast, where an Armenian principality was founded as early as 1080 and later elevated to the status of the Armenian Kingdom of Cilicia in 1198. For nearly 2 centuries, this kingdom became a major political and cultural center, an ally of the Crusader states, and closely connected to Europe. At the same time, other Armenians migrated towards the Caucasus, the Black Sea region, Crimea, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, and even Hungary, where they played an important role in trade and urban life. After the fall of the Kingdom of Cilicia in 1375, a new wave of exile led Armenians to Cyprus, Italian ports, Mediterranean islands, and Eastern Europe. Between the 11th and 14th centuries, a first Armenian diaspora was therefore already taking shape, well beyond historical Armenia. In the early 17th century, a new and important phase opened towards Safavid Iran. In 1604, Shah Abbas I forcibly relocated tens of thousands of Armenians from the border regions into the interior of Persia. Many of them were settled near Esfahan in the New Jolfa district, founded in 1606. There, the Armenians benefited from certain privileges and developed a vast commercial network linking Iran with the Mediterranean, Europe, Russia, and even India. Iran thus became one of the major centers of the Armenian diaspora. Finally, from the late 18th century and into the early 19th century, another major direction emerged: the northern Caucasus and Russia. Armenians were settled by the Russian Empire in the Don region, in Nakhichevan-on-Don near Rostov, as early as 1779. After the Russo-Persian and Russo-Turkish wars, tens of thousands of Armenians left Ottoman and Persian territories to settle in the new Russian provinces, around Yerevan, in Karabakh, in Tbilisi, and in southern Russia. Gradually, the Caucasus under Russian rule became another essential center of the Armenian world. In the 19th century, Armenians found themselves at the heart of rivalries between empires. In 1828, Persia ceded to Russia the territories north of the Araxes River, including Yerevan and Echmiadzin, under the Treaty of Turkmenchay. Many Armenians of the Ottoman Empire began to see Russia as a Christian protective power in the face of instability and uncertainty within the Ottoman Empire. At the same time, the Russo-Turkish wars and massive population movements deeply affected the region. After 1856, around 1 million Muslims from the Caucasus took refuge in the Ottoman Empire, settling particularly in eastern Anatolia. This significantly altered the demographic balance and worsened local conditions. From the 1860s onward, Armenians in the Ottoman Empire began to organize more actively. An Armenian national constitution was adopted, and political parties emerged. However, insecurity, heavy taxation, local violence, and repression continued to intensify. Between 1894 and 1896, under the reign of Sultan Abdul Hamid II, a wave of massacres struck many towns and villages across Anatolia. These events, known as the Hamidian massacres, are estimated to have caused between 100 and 300,000 deaths. They left a deep mark on Armenian collective memory and reinforced the sense that the Ottoman state no longer protected its Armenian subjects. These acts of violence also triggered a new wave of diaspora. From the 1890s onward, Armenians fled to the Russian Caucasus, Syria, Lebanon, and Egypt, as well as to the Western Europe and North America. Community centers began forming in places like Boston, New York, and across South America, unknowingly preparing to receive the survivors of 1915. During World War I, the situation once again took a tragic turn. In 1914, the Armenian population of the Ottoman Empire is generally estimated at between 1.5 and 2 million people. From 1915 onward, Ottoman authorities ordered the mass deportation of Armenians from the eastern provinces to Syria and Mesopotamia. These deportations, accompanied by massacres, violence, and death marches, resulted in the death of several 100,000 people, often estimated between 600,000 and more than 1 million. Many died along the way, others perished in the camps, particularly around Deir ez-Zor. In the Caucasus, the part of Armenia that had been under Russian rule declared its independence on May 28, 1918. A small Armenian republic was born, exhausted, facing an influx of refugees, war, and a severe humanitarian crisis. The Armistice of Mudros in 1918 and the Treaty of Sèvres in 1920 seemed to open the possibility of a larger Armenian state. But this hope would never be realized. Between 1920 and 1922, the young republic found itself trapped between Turkish nationalists and the Red Army. It was eventually incorporated into the Soviet Union, and it was only in 1991 that Armenia regained its independence. But above all, the events of 1915 to 1923 resulted in massive dispersion. Hundreds of thousands of survivors were resettled in the French Mandate territories of Lebanon and Syria, in Egyptian ports, in France, as well as in the United States, Canada, Argentina, and Uruguay. This is the moment when a truly global Armenian diaspora takes shape, structured across multiple continents. In the Middle East, Syria and Lebanon became major lands of refuge. Aleppo played a central role for survivors arriving after the death marches. Armenian neighborhoods developed with churches, schools, and community organizations. In Beirut, neighborhoods such as Borj Hamoud and Ashrafiyeh became true cultural and political centers of the Armenian diaspora in the 20th century. In France, Most refugees arrived through Marseille, which became the great gateway of the diaspora into Western Europe. From there, families spread towards Paris, the Rhône Valley, Lyon, Valence, and several industrial cities. Over time, France welcomed several successive waves, genocide survivors, followed later by Armenians from Lebanon, Syria, Turkey, and Iran. Today, the population of Armenian origin in France is estimated between 300 and over 500,000 people. In North America, significant communities developed in the United States, first in New England, Boston, Watertown, then in New York, and later in California, with major centers such as Los Angeles and Glendale, as well as in Canada, particularly in Montreal and Toronto. In South America, Argentina became the principal Armenian hub, especially in Buenos Aires, but also in Cordoba, Rosario, and Mar del Plata. Uruguay, Brazil, and Chile also host dynamic communities. Meanwhile, Iran, Iraq, Egypt, Greece, Cyprus, Australia, and several European countries also became home to Armenian populations, each contributing in its own way to local society. The fall of the Soviet Union in 1991 opened a new chapter. Armenia regained independence, but faced a difficult economic transition, a regional blockade, and the Nagorno-Karabakh War. In this context, many Armenians left the country, especially in the 1990s and 2000s. Russia became the main destination for this emigration. Hundreds of thousands of Armenians settled in Moscow, St. Petersburg, and southern Russia. Others moved to Western Europe, North America, or joined long-established communities in the rest of the world. More recently, the conflicts in Nagorno-Karabakh in 2020 and 2023, along with ongoing economic difficulties, have prompted new waves of departure. The Armenian diaspora therefore continues to renew itself, relying on already strong family and community networks. Today, it is estimated that nearly 5 million people of Armenian origin live outside the Republic of Armenia. The largest communities are found in Russia, with likely more than 2 million Armenians, the United States, with around 500,000, and France, home to between 300 and 500,000 people of Armenian descent. Other significant communities exist in Georgia, Argentina, Lebanon, Ukraine, Canada, and Iran, along with many smaller but active communities across Europe, Australia, the Middle East, Latin America, and Africa. From Western Europe to the Caucasus, from Canada to Australia, from the Middle East to Latin America, the Armenian diaspora is truly global. It is the result of a history shaped by conquest, war, persecution, and exile, but also by resilience, successful integration, patient rebuilding, and lasting contributions to the societies in which Armenians settled. We will now look more closely at these contributions. Artists, writers, intellectuals, entrepreneurs, political leaders, and see how the diaspora continues to play a central role for Armenia and for the rest of the world. Charles Aznavour. Born in Paris to parents who survived the Armenian genocide, Charles Aznavour became one of the most influential singers and songwriters in French music history. Beyond his artistic legacy, he played a major diplomatic role as Armenia's ambassador to Switzerland and to the United Nations, using his global fame to raise awareness about Armenia and humanitarian causes. Misak Manoukian, a survivor of the Armenian genocide who found refuge in France. Misak Manoukian became a poet, intellectual, and one of the leading figures of the immigrant resistance against Nazi occupation. As the head of the FTP-MOI resistance group in Paris, composed largely of foreign-born fighters, he was arrested and executed by the Germans in 1944. His execution was followed by the infamous Affiche Rouge propaganda campaign, which sought to discredit him but ultimately turned him into a lasting symbol of resistance, sacrifice, and universal humanist values. In 2024, he was posthumously inducted into the Pantheon of France. Arshil Gorky, a survivor of the genocide who emigrated to the United States, Arshil Gorky became a key figure in the development of abstract expressionism. His work deeply influenced artists such as Jackson Pollock and Willem de Kooning, making him one of the most important bridges between European modernism and American post-war art. William Saroyan, born in California to Armenian immigrant parents, William Saroyan was a Pulitzer Prize-winning author known for his warm, humanistic portrayals of immigrant life. His writing frequently explored Armenian identity, exile, and resilience, helping integrate the Armenian experience into mainstream American literature. Calouste Gulbenkian, an oil magnate, often nicknamed Mr. 5%, Calouste Gulbenkian played a decisive role in the early global oil industry. Through the Gulbenkian Foundation, he devoted a large part of his fortune to education, culture, and science, with lasting support for Armenian institutions worldwide. Serge Tankian, born in Lebanon and raised in the United States, Serge Tankian is the lead singer of the band System of a Down. Beyond music, he is a prominent political activist, especially on issues related to genocide recognition, human rights, and social justice, using global popular culture as a platform for Armenian causes. Alexis Ohanian, co-founder of Reddit and leading figure in Silicon Valley, Alexis Ohanian has been outspoken about his Armenian heritage. He has actively supported Armenia through philanthropy, investment in Armenian tech startups, and public advocacy, illustrating the modern role of the diaspora in economic and technological development. Andre Agassi, born in Las Vegas to an Armenian-Iranian father, Andre Agassi is one of the greatest tennis players of all time, a former world number 1 and winner of 8 Grand Slam titles. Beyond his sporting achievements, he is known for his philanthropic work in education through the Andre Agassi Foundation, illustrating how members of the Armenian diaspora have shaped global sports while remaining connected to broader social issues. Thank you for watching this video on the Armenian diaspora. I publish a new video on history or diaspora topics every 2 weeks. If you found this episode useful, Feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Your support truly helps.